So, here is the absolute final definitive question that has divided people since time began. Can men and women really, truly just be friends? We need to cover everything.
This is our marathon debate. I maintain that yes, it is possible, but I concede it's arguably the most complex relationship outside of marriage.
And complexity is where feelings hide. Really, because every romantic comedy, every tragic novel, and every bar conversation insists that tension is inevitable.
Movies exaggerate for profit. Real life's not always like that. I have friendships that have survived decades, career changes, and different partners, all completely platonic.
Okay, no dodging. Be brutally honest. Have you ever had a friend of the opposite gender where there wasn't even a microscopic, fleeting moment of attraction or curiosity?
Define microscopic. We're talking about basic human acknowledgement, right?
Aha, you hesitated again. That pause speaks volumes. I feel like there's always an underlying current of tension, even if it's heavily suppressed.
Not necessarily. You can recognize a person's attractiveness without having any desire to date or pursue them. It's about emotional maturity, not constant temptation.
But what if that tiny, microscopic feeling lingers and grows in just one person? Then the friendship is fundamentally dishonest and therefore doomed.
If that happens, the solution is radical honesty. You have to speak up or you have to step back entirely. What truly destroys a friendship isn't the attraction itself, it's the cowardice of pretending that nothing exists when something does.
Oh, simple. Just casually drop a bombshell. Hey, I might be developing profound romantic feelings for you, but let's still mob coffee and pretend I didn't just say that.
I will give you my prime evidence. I've had a best friend since college, a guy. We've shared apartments, driven cross country, and nursed each other through the flu. Never romantic. He's married now, and I was the maid of honor. He's family.
That is the one in a million scenario. My attempt at a deep platonic opposite sex bond turned into a full blown emotional breakup. And we weren't even technically dating.
Tell me, how do you even have a breakup without a relationship?
We were intensely close, sharing every detail, texting nonstop, hanging out every evening. And one day, she sat me down and said, I can't do this anymore. It feels too much like a stressful relationship. And poof, the friendship evaporated.
Ouch. That illustrates the central problem when people replace a lack of romantic relationship with the emotional labor of one. That hurts because it blurs the definitions.
So basically, confusing the lines between intimacy and romance ruins everything.
Not intimacy, it's unmanaged confusion. Friendship works if both people continuously agree on the exact nature and limits of the bond.
You know, some social psychologists cite the famous mismatched signals theory. One person reads caring as courting, the other reads physical closeness as simply camaraderie.
Exactly. Intent is everything. If you enter the friendship secretly hoping for romance, that subconscious search will make you distort every innocent signal.
So we're often just projecting our own deep seated needs onto the friend.
Absolutely. Friendship is a choice, and like any choice, it requires conscious maintenance, defining boundaries, mutual respect, and emotional balance.
And certainly not texting good night, kiss face emoji every day. That's not platonic support. That's situationship territory. Let's discuss the inevitable third party, the new partner. Does the just friends friend ever fully integrate without causing jealousy or suspicion?
Integration is possible, but it requires the new partner to be emotionally secure and the friend to be proactively welcoming and non competitive. If you find yourself constantly one upping the new partner, you are the problem.
I know of a platonic pair who couldn't handle the new spouses. They became the backup for each other, and the friendships died out of respect for the marriages. Is that a failure of the friendship or a necessary sacrifice?
It's usually a failure of boundary maintenance before the marriage. If the bond was so intense it eclipsed the romantic partner, it wasn't truly platonic in its weight or role. It was serving as emotional spouse.
You've highlighted the weight of emotional labor repeatedly. Let's talk about house sharing. Is living together the ultimate test that inevitably breaks the platonic contract?
Living together adds huge domestic intimacy. Seeing someone in their pajamas, sharing food, discussing bills, that level of closeness naturally increases feelings of coupledom. It takes superhuman discipline to keep that platonic.
So when you're vulnerable after a terrible breakup and you're couch surfing at your friend's place, that's the moment of maximum danger.
It is the ultimate boundary test. You're seeking comfort, not romance. The friendship needs a strong, established foundation to weather that kind of emotional dependency without confusing the two roles.
What about the cultural narrative? Some sociologists argue that in Western society, we simply don't have a model for deep, non-sexual, co-ed intimacy. Everything is forced toward the dating model.
I agree. We lacked the proper language for that type of powerful, soul-deep platonic love. We call it friendship, which sounds light, but the bond is sometimes deeper than many marriages. We need a new term.
It's like friendship is always seen as a pre-stage to romance, not a valid, final relationship state in itself.
Exactly. But if we look at anthropology, many indigenous cultures have much more fluid, non-sexual roles for close mixed-gender peers. The intensity of romance or nothing is largely a modern Western anxiety.
That's a powerful distinction. So we're fighting against centuries of ingrained cultural bias, not just our own hormones.
We are fighting the script we've been handed. The integration of men and women in the modern workforce and education is still historically new, so we're forging these platonic norms in real time.
Let's touch on one final dark scenario. One friend develops feelings, confesses, and is rejected. Can the friendship ever recover?
Rarely, at least not immediately. The person who confessed has exposed their desire, and the person who rejected them now sees every action through a romantic lens. There has to be a significant period of distance and healing before they can attempt to reform the bond.
So that friendship has to die for a while to survive.
In many cases, yes. The trust has been damaged, and the roles need a hard reset. It's like breaking a bone. It needs time to set before you can walk on it again.
So the ultimate rules for platonic survival are 1, continuous verbal boundary setting, 2, absolute transparency with romantic partners, 3, zero emotional dependency during crises, 4, proactive defense against external social pressure, 5, acceptance that if feelings emerge, a temporary break is necessary.
That is the survival manual for the modern platonic friend. It is possible, but it demands an Olympic level of effort and communication.
Everything truly complex and worthwhile is high maintenance, including genuine platonic friendship.
I agree. It's not about can they, it's about will they commit to the boundary line.
Deep. You've earned your therapist badge.
Maybe I should start charging you for the hour.
All right. We've thoroughly exhausted this topic. Now it's your turn. Can men and women really, truly just be friends? Drop your thoughts and your own friendship stories in the comments. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for next week's topic. Is love at first sight real or just great marketing?